What is the Schomburg Center? To me, it is home. The place where we come to see who we really are, not just somebody else's reflection of who we are.
The Schomburg Center is a place of culture. It's a place of history. It's a place of knowledge.
The Schomburg Center, to me, is a repository of all of the things that has documented our sense of worth as a people.
For me, that means that it is a place of immense power.
The Schomburg Center is a public research library and a cultural institution
for the study of the Pan-African world.
It is perhaps the best in the world.
My Schomburg Center is Arturo Alfonso Schomburg.
Arturo Schomburg said, Black history and culture and intellect exists at a time when most people didn't believe that. He collected those evidences, and that became the beginning of the collection.
And it has expanded and has grown to where it is now a world-class institution.
It holds over 10 million items.
There's no parallel anywhere that brings to light what we as people of color have done, what we continue to do.
Black culture is all of culture. The universals that animate everyone's life happen here for all people.
The Schomburg, for me, is one of the center pillars of Harlem. When I started the journey of finding out about Red Rooster and Harlem, the very first place I went to was the Schomburg.
Researchers from around the world come and use what we have here.
I could not have written just about any of the books that I've written without the Schomburg Center's archives, resources.
The Schomburg Center is much more than a library. We encourage lifelong learning and exploration.
The Junior Scholars Program is a Saturday program with students from 5th grade to senior year in high school to help them learn about Black history and culture.
Learning about my history is important because it teaches me who I am.
The Schomburg Junior Scholars Program is going to do nothing but uplift them.
So many talented and brilliant people have walked the corridors of this amazing institution over the years. From Octavia Butler to Toni Morrison and James Baldwin, Ella Fitzgerald, Alvin Ailey, and Harry Belafonte, who graced the stage in this room of the American Negro Theater.
This place evokes great memories. It was a gift to us in our community to really try to find that space to reflect expressions of Black experience. I just knew that the environment, what I saw these young African Americans doing, was a place I needed to be.
What is my Schomburg Center? I'm standing here at the Cosmogram, which underneath holds the ashes of the poet Langston Hughes. On the evening when this Cosmogram was dedicated, people began to empty out of the auditorium. A jazz trio struck up, and to my amazement, Amira Baraka went over and asked Maya Angelou for a dance. And they started to dance on top of the Cosmogram, on top of the ashes of Langston Hughes, and I felt what a fitting way to kiss the memory of Langston.
The Schomburg Center is a research institute and a library, but it's so much more than that.
There's something going on every day.
So many amazing people come here to talk about their creative craft, to share what inspires them. The Schomburg Center's collections help to tell stories even beyond our walls.
The Schomburg Center is here in this exhibition at MoMA, One-Way Ticket, Jacob Lawrence's Migration Series. We depend on the resources of the Schomburg to enable us to tell this story. Thinking about the implications of the past on the present is absolutely crucial for understanding the next steps, understanding what we have to do to go forward.
We today have the responsibility of making sure that new artists and activists, new scholars and poets know that this place continues to be a resource and a source of inspiration for the work that we must continue to do.
The Schomburg Center is knowledge.
The Schomburg Center, to me, is education.
The Schomburg Center is home, it is family, it is foundational.
The Schomburg Center is inspiration.
The Schomburg is with me in everything that I do.
Community, inside and out.
The Schomburg Center is us.
The Schomburg Center is you, and we invite each and every one of you to find your Schomburg Center.
Good evening, good evening. Yes, bring us all that theater energy, because I know we also have some theater people in the house, and y'all like to show up and show out, so go ahead, show up and show out. Good evening and welcome to the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. My name is Novella Ford. I'm the Associate Director of Public Programs and Exhibitions, and as you saw in the video, the Schomburg Center is dedicated to the collection, preservation, and interpretation of global Black experiences. We're excited that you are joining us for the return of the Black Theater Preview, presented in association with Walk Tall Girl Productions, Adulco, Inc. Yep, go ahead, clap it up for each one. And Project One Voice. While the pandemic shuttered doors and almost brought theater to its knees, creativity endured. And when the doors opened, artists returned with an array of stories and talent on the stage and behind the curtain. We frequently bring you programs that celebrate productions by legacy Black theater companies like the National Black Theater and stories that center Black characters and familiar narratives. Tonight will be no different. Just last month, we hosted Wendell Pierce and the legendary Andre DeShields to discuss Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman and what we might glean from a production through the lens of a Black family set in 1940s. The Schomburg Center, as some of you may know, is home to a rich collection of archival materials relating to the performing arts, including materials from the mid-19th century to the late 20th century, documenting early dramatic actors, minstrel shows, vaudeville, and the Black arts movement, just to name a few. We also hold the personal papers of Frederick O'Neill, Alice Childress, Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis, and Lorraine Hansberry. You can explore, You can explore these archival collections and more this Saturday, November 12th. I know it's Wakanda weekend, but if you have some time, bring yourselves on over to the Schomburg Center for our annual open house. You can visit our exhibitions, learn more how to conduct your own research, and shape your Schomburg experience. Of course, before the year is over, we have more programs featuring films, concerts, and conversations in person and online. You can find information about our upcoming programs at our website, schomburg.org. Also, give us a follow on social media at Schomburg Center on most platforms, and at Schomburg Live on Instagram. I'll totally wait. Do you want to? Is that you, Bob? All good, I'm gonna keep going. So please give us a follow on social media at Schomburg Center and on most platforms, and at Schomburg Live, specifically on Instagram if you want to stay connected to public programs. So a little housekeeping. Silence your cell phones. Also, no professional photography or videography. Certainly, if that is something that you want to do when you come here to the Schomburg, you really do need to check in with our PR manager, and we can set that up. But mostly, we have a photographer and videography happening throughout the program, and happy to share a photo if you see yourself in one of them. Also, if you're looking to share tonight's programs with others, it can be viewed online live right now at youtube.com/the Schomburg Center. And if you want to revisit the conversations, the performances, or there was something that you missed about a play that you're interested in, you can always watch it again at youtube.com/the Schomburg Center. Now, before I turn it over to our hosts, I just want to shout out one particular play that we were not able to have join us this evening, but I'm going to use it as my prerogative. La Race by Caribbean-American artist Blue Beckford Burrell, which is being co-presented by Page 73 and the Working Theater. Naomi Lorraine, who is one of the Scholar-in-Residence research assistants here at the Schomburg Center, will be starring in La Race, so I hope that you all will consider going out to see that play. It's directed by Taylor Reynolds. It'll be around from November 21st through December 23rd at the McGinn-Kazell Theater at WP Theater. So please give a round of applause to Blue Beckford Burrell as well as Naomi Lorraine. With that said, please welcome our host and founder of Walk Tall Girl Productions, Marcia Pendleton, who is always a pleasure to work with on Black theater performances.
Hey. Good evening. And welcome to Resilience, the return of the Black Theater Preview. I'm Marcia Pendleton, and on behalf of our partners, Adelco Incorporated and Project One Voice, we are thrilled to partner with the Schomburg on bringing you this program live after a nearly 3-year absence. But most importantly, we are happy to see you. Tonight, we are telling a story of resilience, a story of not just surviving, but thriving, a story of full circle moments of introduction and reintroduction of what's new and what's next. In addition to Novella Ford and Kalila Bates of the Schomburg, we want to say a special thank you to Cynthia Kitt, Verna Chambly, Diane Sanders, Lisette McCants, Reggie Wilson, and the volunteer divas, and everyone who said yes to making this evening happen. In January of 2019, a young man stepped on the stage, took part in a playwrights panel, and then went on to slay us with a monologue from his play that would premiere at the Public Theater and would become one of the biggest hits of the season. That play was Ain't No Mo. And that young man was performer playwright Jordan E. Cooper. Since that time, he has become the creator, showrunner, and executive producer of the Emmy-nominated Miss Pat Show on BET+, and in 48 Hours, Ain't No Mo, produced by Lee Daniels, will open on Broadway at the Belasco Theater. Please welcome to the stage Jordan E. Cooper.
How y'all doing? Good. So I'm gonna be doing a little monologue for y'all from Ain't No Mo. The character, for those of you who don't know what the show is about, the show is basically about if all black people in America got an email saying that they had to go back to Africa. And you watch all these people across the country decide whether or not they're getting on this final plane out of America. And I am the flight stewardess, Peaches, who will be taking all these millions of black folks on this final plane out of America, all right? So I'm gonna jump into it for you, all right? Hello! This is Peaches speaking, and I would like to be the first to welcome you to African American Airlines. Where if you broke in black, we got your back. I will be your gate agent here at gate 1619. Today's flight is filling up pretty tight, but try not to worry because the powers that be have reassured me that there is room for everyone, all right? We will begin boarding in just about 2 or 3 minutes for our final reparations flight with the destination of Dakar, Senegal. Yes! From there, you will be able to go aboard any of your connecting flights to any origin country shown in your ancestry, all right? Please take this moment to make sure that you have along with you everything you created while we were here. For I would hate to see what would happen if you left those things behind. Oh, now, if you could turn your attention to the middle of the gate floor, I would like to introduce you to Miss Bag. Miss Bag will be the carrier of our entire story as a people in this country as we make this glorious transition. Anything that you may have that may fall into that category, please feel free to drop it on in and she will be sure to meet you at your final destination. Now, although this flight is free of charge, we do ask that you not treat it as if it was free. Just because we are all niggas here does not mean we have to do nigga shit. For example, if you are a part of a gang, please don't go sit next to someone who you already know do not fuck with you like that, all right? If you fight, you will take your own private flight out the motherfucking exit door, all right? Mothers, where my mothers? I got any mothers in here? Mothers, yes. Listen here. If you must beat your child like he's a runaway, please go to the bathroom and do it, all right? If you choose to scar your child for the rest of his life, that's your choice, but please don't attempt to scar everyone around him. Stop! Just Just because the toilet paper in the bathroom is free does not mean you may take the whole roll back to your house for you and Pookie. All right? And for all my bougie niggas with my bougie niggas, boop, 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 boop. Listen, there will be no first class. No exit seat privileges, no brown paper bags, and no curtain that separates the light-skinned niggas from the dark ones. Because here at African American Airlines, we are a dedicated observer of equal oppression. No matter what color your eyes are, you fine. Oh, for those of you who are not already familiar, our captain for today's flight will be former President Barack Hussein Obama. Yes, bitch, we found him. Yes. Oh, and our co-pilot for today's flight will be Vice President Kamala Harris. Yeah, be nice. Be nice. I've already had a conversation with her, and she has assured me that if you have weed on board, she will look the other way. All right? Keep it cute. Keep it cute. Now, to make our boarding process as easy as possible, please make sure that you have your ticket out and ready to be scanned as you approach the desk, all right? We ask that once your ticket has been scanned, please do not look back. I repeat, once your ticket has been scanned, please continue to walk forward into the boarding area. If you look back, the powers that be are unfortunately forced to morph your melanin exterior into that of a privileged white male. Your ticket will be revoked, your housing will be denied, and your ability to empathize will become languorous. Yes, you will be able to stay here, however, you will have no memory of the soul you were, the dance you've been dancing, or the song you've been singing. You will never know home, and home will never know you. None of us would want that now, would we? I said, would we? Good. It will not be hard unless you make it that way. All right? We may now begin boarding. Once again, please have your ticket out and ready to be scanned as you approach the desk. All right? Enjoy your flight. 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 Sir, please step forward. Sir, please step forward. You're holding up the line. Sir, if there's a problem, please just continue to face forward and step to the side, please. Sir, don't turn around. Ooh, you woke up this morning knowing you had to be that nigga, didn't you? See, I told them not to put that shit in the script, because as soon as you tell black folks not to do something, that's exactly what the fuck they want to do. What? This ain't easy. Easy, what the hell is that? I ain't saying nothing about no easy. No. You ain't heard me say nothing about no easy. Easy don't know me, and I don't know easy. Easy. Nigga, what you doing national as hell ain't making shit easy for nobody talking about some easy. Nigga, do you know how many more of these motherfuckers I still gotta scan in after you? Do you know how hard these damn heels is raping and stabbing my damn feet? Do you know how much sweat this wig is keeping from gushing down in front of my damn face right now? Do you know how hard it was for me to get out of bed this morning when the sun started yelling out my name? Easy. From the moment they plucked me off my mama's peach tree, I was ripe, round, and full of juice. And if Easy knew me, I wouldn't be wasting away in a world full of folks who hate peaches. I got my ass whooped last night by a group of jealous niggas who was pissed that I look better than the bitches they fucked the night before. That wasn't even white folks who did that. They look like me. And every one of them is standing somewhere in this line waiting for me to scan their ticket to a better life. Seem like niggas will never accept any other nigga that don't fit into their tiny idea of what a nigga can be. Any kind of sparkle that sparkles too sweet, they got to spit on. Shoving out the shine and stomping out the sugar. But I realized a long time ago that sometimes black hate black more than any white ever could. and knowing that I'm going to a place where all I see is black scares the fuck out of me. So yeah, the shit ain't easy, but I sashayed my sexy ass on to work so I can make this flight and get this coin. You hear me? Talking about some easy. Nigga, that color your skin decided to wear today ain't never to comfort, ain't no word like that. Black folk ain't meant to know that kind of word. Knowing that kind of word just makes you weak as fuck and dull. That's why if I ever see easy, I'm across the motherfucking street, because that nigga is evil. Nigga ain't nothing but ignorance. Nigga ain't nothing but darkness and destruction, fire and death. You ain't gonna find ease in nowhere on that plane, so do not go looking for him. This flight is meant to take us back to a place where we can start over. Build and own something that could never again be taken away. Us leaving this land ain't what's easy, it ain't what's smooth, it's what builds. Now please, step forward. I'm watching you. Enjoy your flight. Thank y'all. Stay right here.
Is my mic on? Is my mic on? All right. Have a seat.
Yes.
Have a seat.
How good is he, y'all?
He has given us some of the most memorable moments on film with such award-winning productions as Precious and the Butler and the television series Empire. He will make his Broadway debut as the producer of Ain't No Mo. Let us give him a warm welcome to the Schomburg and to our community. Filmmaker, writer, producer, Lee Daniels. Okay. How did... That's my friend Lisi, making all that noise. All right. How did you hook up with this young man?
You know, no matter, can you hear?
Yes.
No matter how many times I see it, I just get chills watching what he, not only acted, y'all, but he wrote.
Yes.
He wrote it from his heart. We were, right after Empire, the studio sent me off to find a writer for Miss Pat show. Y'all know Miss Pat show on BET? And I couldn't find any writers because Empire, I forget, before Empire started for everything, you know? All of a sudden, there was woke, there was black, there was everything. But I was so worried about Cookie's hat and the music and everything that I wasn't really focused on how the effect was happening, what was the message to the community, what was happening in the outside world. Cut to, I couldn't find no writers. There were very few black writers before Empire, and after Empire, what few were just gone. So I went into New York City, and then I saw his voice, and I said, not only did I find the writer for Miss Pat, because he's created Miss Pat, y'all. Did you know that he's one of the youngest showrunners in Hollywood, one of the youngest television writers in Hollywood. And he is responsible for BET's first Emmy nomination in 42 years. So I said, not only am I doing for Miss Pat, but we're gonna take your show to Broadway. Because Broadway ain't meant for us, y'all. It's not meant for us. It's meant for my mom's church groups, and if they want to see Denzel and Viola, and you know what I mean? But we the only spot in the spot when we're there half the time. And I think that this work right here, what you've seen right here, has never been to Broadway, ever. We've never seen it on Broadway. And I think it'll do I think it'll do, if we get the support, it will do for Broadway what Empire did to television. I think it'll crack the code and make it available for us to come in and make it feel like it's our home, that we're there. So, yeah.
Okay. So what do you want, what do you hope the audience gets from experiencing Ain't No Mo? Because it's an experience.
Well, yeah, I think it's extraordinary. It's, when I saw it, I broke down in tears. It was the first time. When I was 19, I stole my mom's car from Philly. You from Philly?
Yes.
And I stole my mom's car from Philly, and I drove up to New York City to see Dreamgirls. And I knew that I was going to be doing what it is that I'm doing today. This is how I felt when I saw his work. And I think that what it'll do, that's Jordan. Jordan, you tell me.
Well, I think really it's, I started writing it out of an exorcism of my own pain and an exorcism of my own joy. And I'm somebody with a dark sense of humor. So when all the shootings and the murders were happening, I was like, well, what if we just left? What if we just all just like got a one-way ticket and never came back? And out came Ain't No Mo. But I'm hoping that people, I don't want to talk about it without giving away the ending, because the ending tells you why. But I want people, one, to realize that theater is for them, that Broadway is for them. I think the minute you come into the theater, it is a club. We have a club. Back That Ass Up will be played. My Neck, My Back will be played on Broadway. But I want it to be a gathering place for us to ask questions and challenge those answers. And I think that that's what the play is for me. It's a big question of what if and why and what does it mean to be American and what does it mean to be Black American. And really, I hope that we walk out ready to buck. Ready to buck, because there's a lot of work to do.
Okay. In 48 hours, in less than 48 hours, after we all go out and vote, okay? After we all go out and vote, if you haven't already voted, make sure you take your behind and vote. In less than 48 hours, the first preview of Ain't No Mo will begin at the Belasco Theater on Broadway. So can we?
Yes.
Here's the thing. Jordan is the youngest playwright ever to be on Broadway. It's crazy. It's crazy. He did. And I was definitely going to make it. A lot of people said that, I keep thinking how hard it was to do this, because I didn't know what I was doing when I did Monsters Ball. I didn't know what I was doing when I did Precious as a director. I didn't know what I was doing when I did Empire. I had never done a television show, and I don't know what I'm doing now, but I know what I want to see, and I know that's what y'all want to see. And I think that he is the future. He is the future of what it is that we need for Broadway.
Absolutely. I want to thank you both for being here. And Jordan asked me to make this announcement. If you come on Wednesday evening, what time? 7 o'clock?
This Wednesday, the box office opens at 10. If you come to the box office.
If you come to the box office at 10 a.m. up until the time that it is curtain, you can get your ticket for $20.
Yes. You can buy it for that day, and you can buy it for any day.
Okay.
I gotta get, he the producer, he like $20. $20.
But just to make sure that you support, it is directed again by Stevie Walker Webb.
Genius.
So come out and experience this genius, this creative genius. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay.
We got to get to our rehearsal.
They have to go to a rehearsal, so thank them very much for coming here.
I see y'all there.
Okay, who are we going to next?
Item number 7.
I'm sorry? Are we doing Black Legacy Moment? Okay. All right. National Black Theater, New Federal Theater, the Billie Holiday Theater. Together they represent over 150 years of keeping professional Black theater vital, alive, and continue to be places where Black artists can be nurtured in Black spaces. Here to talk about what's now and what's next for these venerable institutions are Jonathan McQuarrie, Artistic Director of the National Black Theater, Elizabeth Van Dyke, Producing Artistic Director of New Federal Theater, and Sabine LaFortune, General Manager of the Billie Holiday Theater. Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello.
All right, so we're gonna start off with a quick question. And I know none of you are at a loss for words. So I need you to be as succinct as possible. What is your definition of Black theater?
I mean, my definition of Black theater is anything that comes out of the Black body, the Black psyche, the Black ethos. As long as it comes out of that space, it is Black theater. If we get gold-jacked by defining it by anything other than that, from my personal definition, because it traps us into a psyche of white supremacy or a supremacy that blocks us from the blessing of the divinity of the artist.
I would say the same. Truly. Black, by Black, through our own lens, rooted in the African continuum, rooted in our legacy. So that's why I would say the same thing.
And Sabine?
Well, to me, when I think of Black theater, I think of it's a space that provides a platform for people who looks like us to be able to present, to create, and don't have to culture-splain.
You don't have to culture-splain. I like that. I like that. Now, please share with us the overview of what you are going to be doing this season, what's happening now and what is happening throughout 2022-23.
So National Black Theater is doing a good amount this whole season. Our season's called Love, A Ritual of Repair. It's MBT Beyond Walls. Under the leadership of Sade Lithcott, who is our CEO, we've been able to really been able to take the energy of Dr. Barbara Antier, our founder of the National Black Theater. Yes, much love to Dr. Barbara Antier, much love to Sade Lithcott, our CEO. We are actually forging a pathway forward with our first show that's happening this week on Wednesday, a workshop production of The Gospel Woman by Ty Lee, directed by Adrian. Yes, upright Ty Lee. He's in the building. But you want to come see that at the Chelsea Factory. Then next, a part of that love ritual, that ritual of repair, where the next show that we're going to be doing is actually a show in partnership with Rattlestick called Amani, and that will be by A.K. Payne, directed by Josiah Davis. Then the next show that we're doing is a co-production with the new group called Bernarda's Daughter. And then finally, to wrap out the evening, we're doing, or the season, it's not just the evening, we are doing a show called Black Mother Lost Daughter at the Flea by Fedna Joke. All of the pieces are really looking at what are the mechanisms, the needed healing salve that we need as a community, what is the ritual of repair that centers love as the mechanism, and how do Black artists actually feed us with love through the works that they create, through the labor that they do, through the experiences that we get to actually be a part of.
Okay.
After that, I think you should go.
No, you go. No, you go.
Okay, I'll just go ahead. So this year, the Billie Holiday Theater is celebrating its 50th year anniversary. And where the theme is celebrating Black genius. So we've been celebrating all summer with different events, screenings. We've done some jazz fest. We've done outdoor concerts. So right now we're kind of like settling in, and we're gearing up for this winter spring season. And I can't quite talk about it right now, unfortunately. But what I would say is that if you can please go to our website, thebilliholiday.org. We should be launching our whole season in a couple of weeks. I just got to make sure I check in with my PR and marketing people to make sure that I'm saying the right thing. So, and yes, please check out the Billy. We hope to be having lots of stuff that you all are interested. It will be conversations, and we have some concert reads and also a major production that will happen in April. Yes. So please check the BillieHolidayTheater.org. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
So, Woody King Jr.'s New Federal Theater is coming back after the pandemic and the facility being closed for almost 3 years. And we're coming back during this time, incredibly intense, challenging times politically, socially, economically, spiritually, in every way. And we're coming back with Black album mixtape Resistance 2023 box set tracks 1 through 7, written and directed by Regina Taylor. This will be a world premiere in March and April. Regina has created this series of plays and songs on the relevant issues of today, because now is not the time to be silent. 7 tracks speak out on January 6th, COVID, gun violence, gender policing and politics, and the rolling back of hard-fought and earned social and civil rights with a whole no-punches urgency that is evocative of these incendiary times we live in today. Bam. That is what we'll be doing. That'll be our big production in the new season, or the spring part. And then we will be celebrating Woody King Jr., who will have his 86th birthday, God willing, on July 27th. And February 2nd will mark the 53rd year of New Federal Theater. So those are 2 big things, and other things, you'll hear about them as they come into being. Thank you.
Okay. And next, we're going to have an excerpt from The Gospel Woman, and I will ask Jonathan McQuarrie to set it up for us.
So The Gospel Woman, what I want to say is that The Gospel Woman is a culminating production, workshop production, that is a part of an 18-month residency, actually turned to be a 3-year residency due to the pandemic for Tylee Sheeter, to actually pin their soul onto paper. And when Tylee wanted to pin their soul onto paper, what they wanted to do is write the story around their family. Their family, which were gospel artists, who were writing a brand, who were actually doing a new album, and the album had chaos, a little bit of conflict, and a little bit of love, spirit, and soul. So what you're going to see this evening is an excerpt from that from that piece that is pinned from Tylee's soul. You're going to hear some brand new words by the cast and crew are going to come out, and they're going to sing, and I mean, it's going to be a good time. So I would just invite you to lean forward in your seats to allow for this musical excerpt, this story narrative, this soul-driven piece by Tylee Sheeter to really wash over you and to inspire you.
Okay.
Thank you.
feel like it's on there. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you help me welcome? I went to fight for something.
What for?
Orpa.
You didn't have to go.
They sent for me.
People said no.
Not me, I wasn't
People
no
stood
coward.
for something when it
Wasn't
looked like
nobody
the
gonna lock
country
me
was
up and throw me in
unchanged.
jail.
You made it there anyhow.
All right.
I may not have done my best always, but I go out my way to help a friend. Doing my best is all that I can do, and for this, there's a reward in the end. Sometimes I feel I can't go on, I gotta go on anyway. And when it feels I haven't done my best, there's only one thing I can say. Good evening, everybody. It feels so good to be back home.
Wait for me here.
Sometimes it gets so lonely on the road.
Ruth.
But that's when I have to remind myself,
You'll see when I'm better.
I'm not alone. I got all of you, and together we got God. Ain't he all right? Goodbye. When you're gonna know that you're not alone in this whole world. Don't be afraid to show that it's the Lord who helps you grow. It's time to let the world know that He has all power in His hand. Yes, He does, my Lord. Where do I go from here? What would my mother tell me, or what have I got to tell my mother? I've never been one to talk to myself. I tend to work my problems out in dreams. Mommy, if you're listening, it's Ruth. Show me a sign if you are. It's a half moon tonight. Is that you? Shine, girl. You wore your illness like a badge of honor, like it was your last system of belief. It was hell to watch you let yourself go. It was hard to watch, and it angered me. What happened to you? Why did you take it? I built my faith around you and wanted you to stand up and walk. I wanted you to be healed. I wanted you to be a miracle. I prayed long and hard for good health and longevity to fall from heaven or sprout up from a root in Mother Earth, and rebuked the doctor in the white coat who kept leaning on man science and singing your death date like the Grim Reaper. I kept dreaming that he would bleed from the tail of his white coat and melt into a puddle. Oh, I had to shake that dream to keep my faith. Faith is fragile, and for 1 second, I looked at my hands ringing back and forth. Then I saw how purple and blue my knees had turned from the tarrying, and I cursed God. And I cursed Him for every woman who sacrificed her peace of mind to rehabilitate a recidivistic man. And I cursed Him for the Vietnam War and the summer of 1967, brown paper bags, ghettos, hot combs, mustard seeds, pimps and wetlocks, penny loafers and slips, and His selective intervention. I keep remembering how hard you worked. Why did you work from sun up to sundown? Whichever side of the sun you're on, I hope you're resting with your feet up. And I hope you soak in tubs of rose water and wiggle your toes as you breathe, because you are so alive. And I hope heartaches are hard to remember. And I hope you are holding my hand. Well, do you know
know about him. Let's talk about him. The Lord is a light. He steps in right on time. We're not alone in this soul life that we're living. We're not alone in this soul life that we're living.
Come on out with me. Come on. Come on. Look who I got with me.
Oh, no. Is this okay right here?
Obie Adelko Theater Award winner Brandon J. Durden has made his mark in theater and television as an actor in productions including All the Way, Skeleton Crew, and Jitney, the signature theater production of The Piano Lesson, and The Americans. He has a growing career as a director, and most recently he directed his wife, Crystal Dickinson, an amazing actress, in the production of Wine in the Wilderness by Alice Childress at Two River Theater. But tonight he's here to tell us about the Broadway remount of the Tony Award-winning play, Take Me Out. Please welcome, once again, Brandon J. Durden. For those who don't know, what is Take Me Out about?
Ooh, okay. How long is this segment?
2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. Here we go. Well, Take Me Out, it follows the... First of all, I need to say that also in the production is the actor, phenomenal actor, Tony-nominated Jesse Williams. Beautiful brother, activist, but most famously from Grey's Anatomy. He stars as Darren Lemming, who is a biracial baseball player who has decided that today is the day when he will let the world know his truth, which is he's also gay. And so the play just unpacks the dynamics of the locker room culture in professional sports, but it also, because he's biracial, we also deal with the racism that he must deal with. It's so, as you can see, 2 minutes is not really enough to unpack all that it's about. But I play Darren's best friend on an opposing team, Davey Battle, who has a few opinions about Darren's decision.
And why this remount? Yeah. It was extraordinarily successful.
It was.
Last spring.
Yeah. This remount, not just the remount from last spring.
No,
because this
not
is
just the revival.
Yes.
But the remount of the revival.
Well, I think it's the remount because it was so successful.
Okay.
And we left a lot of opportunities on the table for people to share in this incredible story. It was initially produced, this revival was produced by Second Stage, and it was a limited run, always supposed to be a limited run. And it sold out rather quickly. And after we won the Tony for Best Revival this past year, then I think that that was a hint that maybe we had a possibility to reopen it and so we can continue to share this story.
In addition to Jesse Williams, who I can't wait to meet in person.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here tonight, and he's so very sorry. He sends his deepest apologies for not being able to be here tonight, but Hollywood business called.
But we got something else for him to do with the Adelcos.
All right.
Okay?
Oh.
So look for him with that. He don't know that yet, but.
Oh, well, he will now.
But he will now.
And he'll be happy to do it.
Okay. In addition to Jesse, who's back?
Well, the entire cast minus Patrick Adams, who was he was in the our last run. He's been replaced by Bill Heck, a phenomenal actor who's currently starring in the series The Old Man. But he's our narrator, Kippy, along with Jesse Williams is Jesse Tyler Ferguson, who you may know from his many years on Modern Family. But he's also a mainstay in the New York theater community, and just a host of other just extraordinarily talented young artists. Some making their Broadway debut, some who's been on Broadway since the 80s. I mean, Ken Marks. And Scott Ellis, who's our director, I don't know, I asked him the other day, like, how many Broadway shows is this for you? He goes, maybe 30. I said, whoa, that's what I need to get when I can just lose track, lose count. But it's a phenomenal company, and it's a really beautiful story. I wish it was dated. I wish this story premiered 20 years ago on Broadway, and I wish we could say that this is one of those pieces. Well, let's look back and see how things were back 20 years ago. Unfortunately, I think as we can all attest, things don't move as swiftly as we would hope and dream, so we have to keep telling these stories to remind ourselves, like, we got work to do. And I think this play, while I can say it was trying to imagine a situation where a superstar player in Major League Sports would, come out of the closet, we thought, well, certainly by 2022 that would have happened, and it still hasn't. It still hasn't in any of our major professional sports where a star athlete has been able to express their truth. And other professional athletes have, but in terms of one of that magnitude, think like if I think this was, people say it was modeled after maybe Derek Jeter type, although that hasn't been confirmed with the playwright. But I think hopefully if we continue to tell these stories and make a way and make a possibility for people to be their whole selves without fear of retribution, without fear of being canceled for being human, then that's why I'm in this racket called theater.
Where is it? Yeah. Where is the show playing and for how long?
Okay, that would be helpful. It is playing on 45th Street at the Schoenfield Theater, and that is between 8th and 7th, and it's very limited run, February 6th. We only have about, I guess, 12 more weeks or 13 more weeks. And like I say, if the last run was any indication, if you have an inkling, which I hope you do, I highly advise you get them now. There are deals to be had now. I think if you search some discount codes around, I know it was popping up at TKTS. You can grab last minute great seats. But I think people know the boys are back in town, and it's getting pretty full. So I can't wait to see you all there.
All right, thank you, Brandon J. Durden. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Oh, yes,
He came up from teaching a class. Okay. You should have seen what she did. Right now, I want to introduce someone who has become very important to me. I saw her almost from her very first day. She is the highest ranking Black woman in live entertainment marketing and advertising. She is the COO of Spotco, the creme de la creme of the marketing and ad agencies. Some of the branding that they've done has been with Rent and Hamilton, and this season, last season MJ, which is still one of the biggest hits on Broadway, and also right now, Death of a Salesman. Please welcome to the stage, put your hands together for this sister, Letha Stevens. And y'all might, if anybody is thinking about getting into marketing and sales and branding, this is the sister to talk to, okay? So we will put you, you're about to be inundated. How did you break into this business?
You know, I always say that Broadway chose me. I didn't choose Broadway. I was in my early 20s, I'll just say, a little over 2 decades ago. And I was working at Kinko's for about 8 months, and Spotco was my client. And they enjoyed working with me and asked me to come on over, even though I didn't know anything about theater or marketing or anything. And so from there, the opportunity was born, and I appreciate it.
And she has, what did you start off as?
A junior account executive.
Okay, and what came next?
After that, I became an account manager. And then I became director of direct mail and print services. And then director of operations, director of human resources, senior director of human resources, director of operations, and voila, chief operating officer.
All right. And as someone who has sat around those tables over the last couple of decades, you see very few people who look like us in those rooms. So please, please, please reach out to Aletha Stevens to find out what it is that you can do. I have seen her bring in a whole new generation of young people of color, Black and brown folk, who are doing an amazing job at Spotco. What were some of your challenges of making it through this pandemic, trying to hold on?
Wow. So I think the first challenge was when we realized we had to furlough people and lay them off. That was really hard. It was the first time we ever had to do something like that, and I think we learned a lot about empathy and really trying to take care of the staff that were not going to have any form of income during that time period. So that was a huge challenge. And then it was about really just trying to stay afloat until our industry returned. And we knew it would return, we just didn't know when. And so, you know, that was a challenge as well. And then I think coming back into the industry when it did take off and there was like this rebirth of Broadway, the challenge then, which was post Mr. Floyd's murder and Miss Breonna Taylor's murder as well, and the shift in the world was experienced in our industry as well, and that was taxing, I think, on any Black or brown person at that time because we had to spend a lot of time educating people and being gracious and trying to make sure that at the end of it all, we would end up in a better place. So, yeah.
Okay, so there are 2 clients that I'd like you to talk about.
I'm ready.
All right. MJ.
Ooh, baby, MJ the musical. What do you want to know?
What was it like when they walked into the room and said, hey, we want you to work on this? What was your pitch like?
My pitch was like, I have to call Marcia and make sure that she's a part of this team right now. Didn't I?
Yes, you did.
I did. I think, you know, obviously MJ is an iconic brand and someone that I think is important to all of us in some way, shape, or form. So being honored to work on it, I think was the first feel. And then thinking about how am I gonna get all my people in this building ASAP? There's a misconception that we don't have money to pay for tickets, and it's just not true. We have over $4 trillion in spending power, and it's gonna keep climbing. So it was about making sure that we knew it existed, that it was for us as well, that we were welcomed into the space, and how to get them tickets, education, you know? And it all worked out because our audiences for MJ the Musical look so diverse and feel so live in that building every single solitary night that the work we did, it worked. High five. We did that, y'all. We did that.
I have seen the show 5 times.
40 times. No exaggeration, 40 times.
Talk a little bit about Death of a Salesman.
Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman. Yes, give it up. Give it up. It is your traditional Death of a Salesman. They haven't changed anything. It is all of the text that you are accustomed to. However, when you put a Black family in as the Lohman family, it shifts the narrative about the American dream and how it is or isn't attainable for people of color. And Wendell Pierce, Sharon D. Clark, Chris Davis, McKinley Belcher III, Andre DeShields. I mean, they bring it every single night. So if you haven't seen MJ or Death of a Salesman, make sure you get in there. Death of a Salesman goes through January, and MJ is an open-ended run, so we are here to stay, baby.
Okay, so we're going to run 2 commercials, one for Death of a Salesman and one for MJ. And just one more thing, the Black Theater Coalition. Please tell people about what that is.
Absolutely. So the Black Theater Coalition was formed to remove the illusion of inclusion in American theater. And yes, give it up for BTC, baby, because it's working. So I think they have a few programs, but the one that I'm most proud of is the fellowship program. It's a paid fellowship that offers opportunities for Black and brown people to come into our industry and learn while they actually make a salary that they can eat off of. You know, that helps to level the playing field so that we are all able to get the opportunities that at one time weren't available for us. And so right now, I think we have 33 active fellows in the industry, so, and climbing. And that's blacktheatercoalition.org. Plug.
Okay, so thank you so very much, because I know you got 9,000 things to do. We're going to show you these 2 videos, and then we will be back with 2 people who are going to be, one who's participating in the season now, and another who is going to be with us later on in the season at MTC, the Manhattan Theater Club. So let's see those videos.
Thank you, everybody.
A volcanic new salesman has erupted on Broadway. Critics are calling it riveting, groundbreaking, and vital. The New York Times raves Salesman is made new again. It's astonishing. Wendell Pierce gives a searing powerhouse performance alongside the unforgettable Sharon D. Clarke. The cost of a ticket is a small price to pay for such a transformative experience. Arthur Miller's Death of a Salesman on Broadway through January 15th only. It's unmissable.
Okay, all right. Okay, can I have Billy Eugene Jones and Glenn Davis on stage? No, that's my seat.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna play musical chairs.
You see, I didn't sit down, right?
Okay, currently celebrating its 50th anniversary, the Manhattan Theater Club is serving up one of its most diverse seasons ever. We are fortunate enough to have 2 actors, these 2 amazing actors, who are part of MTC's offering this year. Billy Eugene Jones is an actor that we see on the New York stage on a regular basis, I think. Yes, yeah. And Glenn Davis is an accomplished actor, producer, and he is one of the artistic directors of the Steppenwolf Theater Company. Yes. Billy is currently appearing in the New York premiere of Where the Mountain Meets the Sea by Haitian-American playwright Jeff Augustine. And Glenn Davis is going to be in the production of King James, directed by Tony Award winner Kenny Leon. Yes, welcome to both of you. Tell us about the plays. Let's start with Billy.
My play is at the Manhattan Theater Club. It's called Where the Mountain Meets the Sea, and it's about an immigrant father who comes to the country and his strained relationship with his gay son. And they both take journeys across the United States, one from Miami to Los Angeles, and when the father dies, the son decides to make that same trip in reverse, and so he starts in California, and he goes all the way to Miami in reverse. And so it's about them meeting and the distance that's between them in their lives, and how this trip kind of brings them together in one kind of, not necessarily just in limbo in this period in space and time where they both can meet. So yeah, really beautiful and lovely, and I hope people can come and check it out. You know, I'm really proud of it, and it's really quite a beautiful play.
And Glenn, King James, we are not talking about the King James version of the Bible. Tell us what King James is.
Yeah, and first of all, I just want to say Billy is amazing in Where the Mountain Meets the Sea, so please go see that. He is sublime.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I paid him to say that.
Yeah, so we did this play that started at Steppenwolf called King James, and essentially it's by this guy named Rajiv Joseph, who's a wonderful playwright and from Cleveland, Ohio, and he was fascinated with LeBron James's impact on the greater Northeast Ohio area. So he decided to write a play about the moment when LeBron left Cleveland Cavaliers to go play for the Miami Heat, which he was vilified in the media for, and he just wanted to go to Miami for a few years. So, yeah, so he wrote this play, and it's essentially a two-person play between these two guys who chart the course of their relationship over a 12-year period from the moment LeBron came to the Cleveland Cavaliers, he was drafted, until the moment he leaves to go win a championship with the Miami Heat. So you get to, and then when he comes back and wins a championship for the Cleveland Cavaliers. So you get to see the highs and lows of their relationship. And he wrote it, he said, because he wanted to examine how we make athletes into deities, into gods of sorts, and how their triumphs become our triumphs and their failures become our own. And so, yeah, it's this beautiful play that Kenny Leon is directing, and he's kind of good at what he does. So, yeah, we're excited. But yeah, it's me and another actor named Christopher Perfetti, and yeah, we're doing that in the spring.
What made you say yes to these roles? Anyone can answer first.
This is, I am the artistic director of Steppenwolf, and I commissioned Rajiv to write it.
Whoa,
so,
thank you.
I was like, yeah. Hey, man, I'm running the show, so write something for me, man. Rajiv and I did a play years ago called Bengal Tiger at the Baghdad Zoo. It was with Robin Williams. We did it on Broadway, and it was amazing. And we had such a wonderful experience that when I became artistic director, I said, hey, I want to do something else with you. I want to commission you to write it and, go dream and think what it would be about. We became great friends over our love for sports. And I remember we would talk about who's greater, Michael Jordan or LeBron James. It's not even a question, but we would argue about it. Thank you. There's no wrong answer, but he came to me one day and he said, I think I got the play. I think I want to examine what it's like between men who can. One interesting thing he said was, I've been in barbershops where you could see grown men come to blows about who's greater, this guy or that guy, Kobe or Kevin Durant or LeBron or whoever. He said, but those same men don't know how to express themselves at home with their family, with their close friends. They don't know how to say, I'm sorry. They don't know how to capitulate. They don't know how to make things right. And he said, I want to examine what that's about. And so you see the charting of these guys' relationship. You get to see that, when parents pass away, when love interests come in and out of their lives, how they're a bit stifled in terms of their emotionality. But when it comes to, who's the greatest basketball of all time, it's like, motherfucker, you don't know, so they go so full on. And he said, I want to examine what that's about. So immediately I felt a kinship to the play and what it's talking about. I'm a big sports fan, and from Chicago, Jordan, the 90s, I was all in. So it was kind of easy to say yes.
Okay. And you, Billy?
Oh, I just like the story. It's a beautiful story, father and son story, basically, and everybody has their own, father issues, and it seems to be addressing that distance sometimes you can have with your family and your children, and it's just a really beautiful story. So yeah, I was attracted to it.
Okay, so we're going to be able to experience an excerpt from.
No, that's all right.
No.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh man. All right.
Okay.
They just had a whole conversation, y'all, without saying any words.
So we're going to experience an excerpt from Where the Mountain Meets the Sea, which plays at the Stage 1, MTC Stage 1 at the New York City Center, 131 West 55th Street until November 27th. And King James, you'll be able to catch in the spring, I believe, beginning in March. And also, one other thing that I wanted to tell you about, the collaboration starring Jeremy Pope and Paul Bettany will open on Broadway. It is about Jean-Michel Basquiat and Andy Warhol. And that will begin November 29th at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater. So there is a lot going on at MTC. So he and I are going to leave the stage.
You can stay here. You can stay here. All right, you don't have to stay. I mean, I'll make it really fast. Je parle, tu parles, on parle, nous parlons, vous parlez, French conjugation, light, sound of my students' necks cracking as they turn their heavy heads. My friend Emile in the doorway, her face mix of joy and sorrow, of envy and pity. The first of my last memories of my country. Memories I forced myself to make. Like a bride and groom on their wedding day, I knew it would be too fast, a blur. Every step, every word I tried to remember. But memory fades, becomes fragmented truth. But I try to remember every day, I try. Fourth grade, what Americans call fourth grade, teaching my students my life. I taught general education. It was French hour, my favorite hour. My students, not so much. Well, there was one who liked it. Angie, or let's say Anne. It was a normal day, not bad, not good, just normal. Emile pulled me outside. I tasked my students to practice their conjugations, but they knew what was happening, so they muttered and cried. I rushed to my mom's house when my bags were packed. My mom made me one last meal, griot, banane, fried pork, fried plantain. Instead of speaking, instead of saying all the things we felt in our hearts, we said nothing. As we ate, my mom filled the silence between us by humming to a song on the radio. I wish we had spoken the words in our hearts, but neither of us knew that she, my mother, would die and I'd never see her again. I got in a car alone, I got on a boat alone. And I knew when the water, the Haiti blue ocean, turned to Miami green, I knew Haiti was no longer home.
All right. Thank you for making me do that. Yeah. We want to thank Billy Eugene Jones and Glenn Davis. We're looking forward to seeing you, but if you cannot wait to see him in King James, he is going to be in a play at Playwrights Horizons What is the name of the play?
Wow, you are good. I am in a play at Playwrights Horizons right now. We're in previews. We open this coming Sunday. It is called Downstate, and so we run through the end of the year. So yeah, please come check it out.
Yeah, but we're really looking forward to seeing King James. And we have just a little bit of the production that was on the West Coast. So roll the tape. You have to get off this thing. I'm not on. I'm on now. Okay, we have two icons coming to the stage. And yes, it is, oh my God. To have a quick conversation with two people. I can honestly say that without Irene Gandy, there would be no me. She's a two-time Tony Award-winning producer, and she is a legendary publicist. And the person that is coming on with her is someone that I met maybe back in 1997 when he was doing a tour of Jitney, August Wilson's Jitney, and this was directed by the late, great Walter Dallas. So, and he will be starring, and I believe that this is his first leading role on Broadway. It's about time. It's about time. Please welcome to the stage Irene Gandy and Stephen McKinley Henderson.
That's what it is.
There is serious time up here. Irene is producing, what is she producing? The Ohio State Murders, starring Audra McDonald, directed by, again, Kenny Leon. And it is the Broadway debut of 91-year-old Adrienne Kennedy. Okay. And once again, I have to say that Stephen is finally going to Broadway with the Pulitzer Prize-winning play Between Riverside and Crazy by Stephen Adley Gurgis. All right. What is the secret of your staying power? What keeps you engaged and involved?
Well, I think I have to tell you honestly, I get up in the morning and I ask God, let me say the F, out of your way and do your will. And I can put my shoes on by myself. And you know, it's bigger than us, I think. And Marcia, not to take over your interview, you've done a wonderful job. We've been disabled. And you cannot let people write your narrative. And we're behind the scenes, and you know, we never let, you can look at this how we look. We don't let nobody write our narratives. And I think, I don't even think about it. I just keep moving on, and you know, you do because you can, and you don't do it alone. I just called you about piano lesson asking for help. Because if we don't do it, then you guys don't get to see it, because what happens is, oh, we promoted it, did we this, but you don't hear about it till it's gone. And Marcy and I have to keep referring to her, we have been, you don't want to get it after you see it on somebody else. You don't want to get after the New York Times or the, not the Times, the Times or other white people publications don't give it a good review. Oh, let's bring the black people in. We're not the clean-up women. You know, we're artists and we know what we want. And so that's what keeps me going. And I like Chanel shoes and Louis Vuitton and Louis Vuitton bags. That's the real reason.
Okay, Stephen, what keeps you going?
Well, you know, the thing that keeps me going is that, well, I do what I love to do, but also you got to keep a balance. You know, you got to have a life to bring life to the stage. So, you know, making sure that, you know, happy wife, happy life. And my son, and I have 3 grandchildren, and to have made sure. One of the things is, when I was young, I grew up with other people other than my mother and father, wonderful people who raised me. And I knew my mother, and knew my father and my brother and sister, but I didn't live in the house with them. And so I always wanted to be in a house where everybody had the same last name. And I got to do that. So it always meant as much to me to have a home as to have a career, and that's what's kept me going.
Okay. Irene, tell us about Ohio State murders.
Oh my God, this is so amazing. It's you know, I'm really, you know, I started in 1968 in the business, and Adrienne Kennedy, for her to, her writing is so prolific, and the things that, you know, for her to come to Broadway at 91 to see this masterpiece, and for Audrey McDonald, 6-time Tony winner. I mean, it's so complex. It's like you're reading Agatha Christie, or, I mean, it's just a mystery novel, and just, all of us have been in situations we thought we were the only one, and I just have to tell you, it's just amazing. And for me, in a couple of weeks, I'll be 79. And no, I'm saying this for a reason. So it's 3 generations of people. You know, it's Audrey McDonald, it's myself and Adrienne Kennedy. And for me to witness that, for all of us I was talking to Audrey about it the other day, it's just to be able to live to see, and that's diversity. Diversity for me is the excellence. You know, we all have different families. You come from a different family, I come from a family, we all have the same last name. You know, we all have, and we're not lumped into a thing. We don't have to write, well, there's nothing wrong with writing. Let me not get into, well, yeah, I have to say what I have to say, that's why I'm here. But there's nothing wrong with writing the story that's already been told, but we have dreams and poets, and, you know, it's like I look at these young people and say, you know, I see somebody like Color Purple, like LaChance, and these young ladies have been going on to do everything that they did, all these monologues in school. So yeah, it's just a play, a mystery. It's a play about excellence that this young African-American woman, and just she's a playwright. That's what it is. It's about a playwright who happens to be a woman who has happened to see in life and is not afraid to put it down on paper. And if anything else, you can always Google if you can't, you know, wait for the ending. Okay.
Okay, Stephen, tell us about Between Riverside and Crazy.
Well, you know, it's hard to tell you about it. It'd be sure enough easier to put it in front of you, so buy a ticket, come see it.
I told him to say that.
But I tell you, it's something that Brother Cornel West, Dr. West, said about the absolute condemnation of no one. And this playwright, Stephen Adley Gurgis, he writes about people that seem irredeemable when you meet them, and then you find out that they are redeemable, and they find their redemption. And what Dr. West is talking about is so many different worlds, a different place. But the absolute condemnation of no one is a Christian concept. And so what I love about this play is that I get to play an absolutely terrible person who finds grace, finds grace in his life, and finds a way to do something that's meaningful. And he gets stuff straight with his son, and he gets stuff straight with the spirits of his deceased wife, and he gets back at the New York Police Department in a way. But the reason it's called Between Riverside and Crazy is because he's trying to hold on to his rent control apartment, and they're trying to take it from him. And the police department is trying to take his pension because he's been a policeman. So he gets back at everybody, and you come see it. It's all right.
Okay. Last question. Where can we see Ohio State Murders?
Oh my God, this is another historic moment. You can see it at the newly named James Earl Jones Theater.
Yeah.
Which is at the Court on 48th Street, 48th Street, and we're the first production to go in there. And it's already done. Like I said, I get up in the morning, like I said, let me get out of your way and do your will. And that's good.
Okay, and Stephen, Between Riverside and Crazy, that is going to be produced by Second Stage in their Broadway space, correct? Yes. All right, and when do you start?
We start previews November 30 and open December 19th.
Oh yeah, we start previews November 11th and open. Yeah, just come. We'll be there.
Friday. So she says, just
but
come.
we're a little older, and when we come before, I want to see you.
Okay.
I can still get on my pumps.
We are going to see Audra McDonald speak about the piece in this little video clip, and we are going to say thank you very much to Stephen McKinley Henderson and Miss Irene Gandy.
Well, thank you for finally interviewing me. She has such big people on her show. I can't get on the show.
Okay, you're going to be on my show. We're going to kiki, okay?
All right.
Thank you very much.
The first time I read Ohio State Murders, I was on the edge of my seat, and you don't breathe the entire play. At first you think, oh, okay, there's this middle-aged woman up here reading a speech. Okay, and then the first words out of her mouth, you're like, oh, wait, what did she just say? And then as little bits of the plot start coming out, and this story is unraveling, and you get bits and pieces of it, but it's all happening in just this really wild order. And then the very last line of the play, it's the biggest act ender curtain slam I have ever read, and I think I will ever be a part of, especially for a play. The last line of this play kicks your teeth out, rips your heart out, punches you in the gut, and then it's like, okay, go home.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Obie Award winner, April Mathis.
Hello.
And she is currently appearing in some little Broadway show called The Piano Lesson. And she is also a company member of the Elevator Repair Service Company. And she plays the role of Grace in this acclaimed revival, directed by LaTanya Richardson Jackson, and also starring Samuel L. Jackson, John David Washington, and Danielle Brooks. I must ask you this question. I saw you this summer at Williamstown Theater Festival.
Oh, wow.
Singing in Most Happy.
Oh, my goodness.
The voices were phenomenal. You know, like the performance was phenomenal.
Tina Fabric.
Yes.
Mary Testa.
Yeah. It was just amazing. So the question that I want to know, what was it like being in that rehearsal room for the piano lesson?
Well, what was great is, the first day, I actually got cast in this back in 2019 in December. So I was expecting to meet Mr. Samuel L. Jackson on my birthday in 2020 when we were supposed to start a week-long workshop of the play preceding Broadway production that fall of 2020. Of course, none of that happened. So we arrive August 15th, I believe, for the first rehearsal. And, we're all getting COVID tested and being very careful. And they told me, you can just go into this room and self-administer your test. I opened the door. There he is right there, Sam Jackson. I was not ready to meet him. And so I said, oh, hello, sir. He said, oh, I guess I must be getting old. You're calling me sir. But, just very unassuming. LaTanya gave this monumental speech. She said, you're ready, I'm ready, like we've been waiting a long time, let's do this. And they just made it really normal to be in the room with them, John David, one of the first things he said to me was, I'm just here to learn, He was new to Broadway as I am, but also new to stage performance. Didn't have a lot of that under his belt and was so we were all coming with the same passion and curiosity and excitement about this piece. And Danielle and I had a lot of mutual friends, so it was oh, hey, so it was a very kind of familial atmosphere.
Is this your first time performing in an August Wilson play?
Yes. I've loved August Wilson and been a reader of August Wilson, since college, but this is the first time somebody took a chance on me to do August Wilson. And it's funny because this language reminds me of my grandfather, my elders, my family members. The language just feels so much like home to me. So I've been dying to do it, and this is my first opportunity.
Now that you've had the experience, and you said you've read August Wilson, what role and in which play would you like to do?
Well, it's funny because now I'm well, what's left? So I'm I don't know. Maybe someday I would like to be on Esther. I don't know. I'm excited about the women in the August Wilson canon.
What has the audience response been to the play? We can get into the call and response tradition. That is who we are. And actors really, truly do complain if we're not in the audience, if we're too quiet.
Yes, no, we love to hear our folks, and we can tell when it's us in the audience. There are some nights where it's oh, the sight gags are funny, but when people start laughing at the language, that's when I know. There's a passage that Sam has where he kind of goes on a tangent about ham hocks. And that's one of the funniest lines to me. He's if they don't have the long ones, go on get the short ones. Make sure they ain't got all that fat on their skin. And it just cracks me up every night. And so when that gets a particular laugh, I recognize that. And I remember one of the first previews, I come in, in my red dress. And the line I have is, where I'm most sleep at? And somebody goes, sleep.
Like, wow, okay, right here in the front row. Like, yes, ma'am. Eventually we will sleep, that is the plan. But, you know, that's the response to the call that happens.
Even when you don't want it to happen.
I personally love it.
Okay, so where is the play and how long will you be there?
It is playing now on Broadway at the Ethel Barrymore on 47th Street, and we will run through January 15th.
All right, so if you haven't already seen it, make plans to see this wonderful revival directed by LaTanya Richardson Jackson, who is the first woman to direct an August Wilson play on Broadway. So, yes. You have until January 15th, but please do not wait until the last minute. And don't be calling me for a ticket on January 15th. Do you think you can get me a ticket? The answer is no. It will be no. So come out and support. And thank you so very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Linda. Next up, we are going to see an excerpt from Freedom. Do you want to come out and set this up for us? Oh, no. We're going to do the scene first. Oh. Because they have a hard out.
Well, then I'll let Alvinique do it.
Yes, you do it.
Okay.
Okay, so Alvinique is Lindsay is the line producer for A Raisin in the Sun that is currently playing at the Public Theater. It's a revival unlike any other revival that you've seen. So we'll have a chance to talk about that. So will you please set the scene up for us? Thank you.
Thank you. So, A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry really explores the resilience of this Black family living in the South Side of Chicago in 1959. And this scene that you are going to see is featuring Benitha Younger, played by Paige Gilbert, and Joseph Osagai, played by John Clay III, and it follows the climax of the play. And then we see what the characters do to rebuild and repair. Thank you.
Go ahead, Alvin. Yeah.
I came over. I had some free time. I thought I might help with the packing. I like the look of packing crates. A household in preparation for a journey. It depresses some people, but for me, it is another feeling, something full of the flow of life. Do you understand? Movement, progress. It makes me think of Africa.
Africa.
What kind of mood is this? Have I told you how deeply you move me?
He gave away the money, Osagai.
Who gave away what money?
The insurance money. My brother gave it away.
Gave it away?
He made an investment with a man even Travis wouldn't have trusted with his most worn-out marbles.
And it's gone.
Gone.
I'm very sorry. And you now?
Me. Me, I'm nothing. Me. When I was very small, we used to take our sleds out in the wintertime, and the only hills we had were the ice-covered stone steps down the street. And we used to fill them with snow and make them smooth and slide down them all day, and it was very dangerous. You know, far too steep. And sure enough, one day a kid named Rufus came down too fast and hit the sidewalk, and his face just split open right there in front of us. And I remember standing there looking at his bloody open face thinking that was the end of Rufus. But the ambulance came, and they took him to the hospital, and they fixed the broken bones, and they sewed him all up, and the next time I saw Rufus, he just had a little line down the middle of his face. I never got over that.
What?
That was what one human being could do for another. Fix him up, sew up the problem, make him all right again. That was the most marvelous thing in the world. I wanted to do that. I always thought that was the one concrete thing in the world that a human being could do. Fix up the sick, you know, and make them whole again. This was truly being God.
You wanted to be God?
No, I wanted to cure. It used to be so important to me. I wanted to cure. It used to matter. I used to care. I mean, about people and how their bodies hurt.
And you stopped caring?
Yes, I think so.
Why?
Because it doesn't seem deep enough. Close enough to what ails mankind. It was a child's way of seeing things. Or an idealist.
Children see things very well sometimes, and idealists even better.
I know that's what you think because you are still where I left off. You with all your talk and dreams about Africa, you still think you can patch up the world. Cure the great sore of colonialism with the penicillin of independence.
Yes.
Independence, and then what? What about all the crooks and thieves and just plain idiots who will come into power to steal and plunder the same as before? Oh, only now they will be black and do it in the name of the new independence. What about them?
That will be the problem for another time. First, we must get there. Thank you.
John Clay is in one of my favorite television shows. How many of y'all watch Power Book 3? Raisin Canaan with Patina Miller in those amazing clothes that she wears. Okay, please welcome to the stage Freedom Bradley Ballantyne, Director of Artistic Programs and Associate Artistic Director at the Public Theater, and Alvernick Lindsay, the line producer at the Public Theater. And how are your children doing downstairs? They okay?
They might come up here and burn this place down. But, we'll get through it.
Okay, we won't hold you long. What is happening this season at the Public?
What's not happening at the Public
Yes.
right now? What's not happening in American theater right now? The most wonderful thing that I can say that I've been a part of is the show that we just saw a little snippet of. It's such an original retelling of that story, a story that we all know so well or feel like we know so well, but how they do it and what Robert brings to it, it's like the first cold day of winter when you go to your closet and get a warm coat and put it on. That's what the play feels like now. It's like an old friend that you didn't know about. And I'm really proud of the work that they're doing on that stage. And what they're bringing to it, because it's all in the script. They have people say, did he change the words? No, he didn't change not one word in there. But it's just the focus is on other things that are really supported by this text that I had never seen before. So it's just wonderful, wonderful work, despite what the New York Times said. I want everybody in here to go see it, because it's one of those plays that you'll say, that people will talk about in 20 years and say, wow, that was the quintessential production of it. A lot of people want to see the Sidney Poitier version, but that was good for that time. What we're doing right now is really different and really beautiful and really special and unique. So I hope that you all can see that.
What went into the decision to do this revival of A Raisin in the Sun?
Alvinique, do you want to take that one? It was a little bit before I got to the Public. I was out on the West Coast, so it's a decision that was already made before I got there.
Yeah, so I can't necessarily speak to the decision for A Raisin in the Sun to be done during this season, because the way that line producing works at the Public is we often get brought in once the shows are already here and we know what director we're going to be working with. But what I can say is at the start of the process, Robert O'Hara made it really, really clear, right, that this would not be your mama's or your grandmama's version of A Raisin in the Sun. And I think really what he wanted to do was bring it to us to a contemporary lens, to think about, our relationship to the themes in the play now as Americans, as Black people, and have a conversation that felt honest and potentially would make people very uncomfortable, but within that discomfort, there would be a lot of conversation about the legacy of Lorraine's work and what we do next, how do we repair? And I love that boldness.
And I just think that Lorraine Hansberry wrote the greatest American play. Like that play, Raisin in the Sun is the greatest play that America's ever produced. And it's wonderful to be able to see it in such a warm and new light.
Absolutely. Now, why did you choose to come back, you in particular, to come back to the East Coast? Because I know that you were on the West Coast with your family for a while.
Yeah, the Public Theater, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now if it wasn't for the Public Theater. Mm-hmm. I got my start working in theater by the Public Theater. And it's, they wouldn't even let me tear tickets. That's how low on the totem pole I was when I first got there. I walked around, a professor told me I was going to school right around the corner, and this professor called me up and said, hey, a former student of mine is now the associate house manager, and you need to go over there and get a job because you don't have no money. And that's how I went over there. George Wolfe wanted to make sure that the lobby of the Public Theater, George C. Wolfe.
Yes.
Yes, George C. Wolfe. He doesn't get nearly the amount of credit that he should for making that place more accessible, and that is a hallmark of the Public Theater's accessibility. And George Wolfe made sure that place gave young people a chance to find a place in theater and know that theater was a place for them. And the Public Theater did that for me, and that's what we're doing at the Public Theater, and we're a continuation of that.
Okay, what brought you to the Public?
So as someone who grew up in New York, I grew up in Brooklyn, and I have always loved theater, right? But my family wasn't necessarily going to the theater often. It was something that I found for myself, and I discovered through free summer programs in New York City. I found a way. And as I've made my way working through administration within theater and in producing as well, I didn't see myself reflected often, right? But what I have been seeing lately is a lot of Black stories being told on stages. And what's so important is that I think we see us reflected not only on the stage, but behind the scenes as well, is having these artistic conversations, right? Supporting the artists that look like us and making sure that we can help take care of these artists as they make their way through institutions that they may not be very familiar with. And I will say, I have fallen in love with this cast. I think this job has taught me that a lot of these performers, they are not just actors, right? They are creatives. They have so much to offer, and I have learned a tremendous amount from them. Just being able to have conversations with them about their experiences and say, what do you want more from your theater institutions? And they tell me. And in the long run, I think that makes this all better.
How long can people see A Raisin in the Sun with the magnificent Tanya Pinkins?
Okay, please, go on the website As soon as you can, Raisin in the Sun is running until November 20th. Everyone, November 20th is the last day of A Raisin in the Sun. This production is so incredibly moving. And I was telling Freedom, I have maybe seen it at this point about 15 times. And every time I see it, I discover something new. Because not only is Lorraine's text rich, but the performers on stage are bringing richness and newness to this work.
Okay. So, yeah, do you want
I just do want to say something else. You know, we were in the public theater. I was down in the basement, and James Imes was working on his play. We were doing a reading of Good Bones, and I was saying it's amazing being at this theater right now. The public theater, for the first time in my life, is like a real black theater. You know, so that you have, we're doing Lorraine Hansberry, we're doing Susan Laurie Parks' Plays for the Plague Year. We're workshopping 3 different plays by black artists that are going on right now. We're doing The Harder They Come, The Harder They Fall. You know, there's so many different plays that we have coming up in this season. Erica Dickinson Dispenza's play is coming on, who just won, oh my goodness, Colored Girl. Oh yeah, she wrote Colored Water, but she was just named the Intozaki Shange Chair over at Columbia University. So it's just wonderful, wonderful work. Hopefully it's not a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see this much black work at the public, and it's a continuation of things that are happening. But there's just a lot of plays that are going on up there right now that I'm super, super proud for. And don't worry, if you can't get down there, we'll be bringing some Shakespeare out to different communities throughout New York City, because we still have our mobile unit that's going to be doing that as well.
Okay. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure seeing you again, and it was a pleasure finally to meet you. All right, thank you very much. Let's give you
so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Mwah. Great meeting you.
Great meeting you too.
All right, so who do we have next? He is the Lucy, yes, he is the Lucy to my Ethel.
Honestly.
For real. But first, we have to do something. I want everyone to stand up, get to your feet. We have lost many people this year and last. And we always do this. So what I would like you to do is say the name of someone who has become an ancestor, someone in the theater who has become an ancestor, or not, but give them their final standing ovation. All right, let's hear this name. Just call out the names. Anybody else? Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right, let's give him a hand.
Hey. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Marcia. Isn't this a fantastic event? Yes, it is. It is. You know, I love events where history and heritage collide. Okay, so time. Time speeds by quickly, and our life is as short as they say it is. These are words that resonate when we've lost someone who made a special impact on us. So now, we have just remembered people whose earthly voices have been shattered, have been silenced, but whose brilliance and creativity are still heard in the unforgettable work they left behind. As I listen to you all shouting out names, these are some of the names that I heard. Broadway actress and R&B singer Marva Hicks. Daniel Smith, who is believed to be the last child of enslaved people, who died this week at the age of 90. And the prolific preacher, scholar, visionary, entrepreneur, and advocate, Reverend Calvin Butts, who lived a life of multidimensional impact, from his groundbreaking leadership of the Abyssinian Baptist Church in Harlem to his transformative work as president of the State University of New York College at Old Westbury, and his unwavering support of the artistic community. His legacy will ripple throughout time for generations. Thank you. On December 19th, Cicely Tyson would have turned 98 years old. This stage, screen, and television actress, her vivid portrayals of strong African-American women shattered racial stereotypes. On this day, December 19th, we will flood the internet with images of this pioneering icon and other Black women in the fine and performing arts. We are asking Black women to gather in front of Black theaters across the entire country to celebrate the legacy of Cicely Tyson. Here in New York City, we are going to gather in front of the newly named Lena Horne Theater. So mark your calendars, ladies. On December 18th, we are going to gather in front of the Lena Horne Theater and in front of Black theaters across this entire country to celebrate the power, the promise of Black womanhood in the fine and performing arts. So join us on December 18th for the photograph at Black theaters, and then on December 19th, which is Cicely L. Tyson's birthday, we will flood the internet with these historic images and images of the pioneering civil rights advocate Cicely L. Tyson. So I hope you join us for that date. That's December 18th and 19th. And also on February 20th, which is Sidney Poitier's birthday, we will repeat this with Black men. So, thank you. As I said to you earlier, I love when history and heritage collide. So this is what these events are about, is a day to celebrate what we have brought to fruition so wonderfully well, we as a collective Black community. I think moments like this where we gather in spaces, COVID kept us away from one another, but now we're together and we get to celebrate all of our experiences being Black in America and beyond. So that's it. Thank you. Remember those dates, December 18th, Cicely Tyson Day. We're doing the historic photograph in front of the Lena Horne Theater. Join us if you're in Houston, if you're in Atlanta, if you're in Detroit. Find a Black theater or a Black creative institution in your community and support it. And I do hope that you all are supporting and engaging with Black creativity in your community. What are the Black theaters in the Harlem community that we can support? Or in New York City? Give us some names. What theaters should you be supporting? The Apollo Theater, National Black Theater, New Federal Theater, yes, the Negro Ensemble Theater. What else? Alvin Ailey, exactly. The Harlem School of the Arts. We should support them all. Thank you for supporting and engaging with Black theaters and Black creativity in your community. Thank you and have a fantastic evening. All right. And lastly, we are giving away a pair of tickets to Alvin Ailey. I'll be back at the end of the show to tell you who won those 2 tickets. Alvin Ailey is going to be at New York City Center beginning November 30th through December 24th. So get your tickets right away. Bye-bye.
Okay.
I'm sorry. We're not sure of the time yet. I'm still working out the press release.
If you signed up for this, you'll get the information.
We'll send you all that information. So just remember the 18th and 19th, Cicely Tyson Day. Have a great one. Thank you,
all
guys.
right.
Bye-bye.
Is Marcus Gardley with us? Come on out here, Marcus Gardley. I heard somebody say, oh, wow. Marcus Gardley is an Obie Award-winning playwright who has given us such magnificent work as The House That Will Not Stand, and the upcoming film adaptation of The Color Purple musical. Okay.
Thank you.
He is teaming up with Stevie Walker Webb to create an exciting new work called Black Odyssey to be produced by the Classic Stage Company. So let's talk about it. Welcome,
yes, please.
Marcus.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
What is Black Odyssey?
Black Odyssey is a play I wrote for my baby sister who we adopted. And when we was growing up, she felt like she had no understanding of her history and her blood. And I said, this vast, rich, gorgeous history, African-American history, belongs to you and belongs to everybody. And so the play is a play about African-American history. The lead character gets lost in his own blood, just like the Odysseus character gets lost at sea. And he visits all of his ancestors and famous African-American icons in history.
Ooh. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it's a big play.
And you just said why it's important for the audience to come see this.
It's important for the audience to come see this. One, I wrote this play when I was living in Harlem. It takes place in Harlem. It's about Harlem. And it's about Harlem's beautiful history in our culture, beautiful place in our history. But it's also about the connection that we all have as African-American people. So it's definitely a play for the family. It's a play for generations. And it's a play for now.
So let's get right to it. Let's set up the scene. And I saw Harriet D. Foy downstairs.
Yes.
And this brother does not do a play unless Harriet D. Foy is in the play. And she is here with us tonight with D. Woods.
That's correct.
And Marcus Gladney Jr. So you want to set up the scene?
Absolutely. So in this scene, the young son comes home. His mother's name is Nella. His name is Malachi, and it takes place in Harlem. That's all I'm going to say. The scene pretty much speaks for itself. But thank you all so much for coming tonight.
You don't have to take your wheelchair off.
Okay, I think I can.
I'll move it towards the
Malachi Malcolm Little Lincoln, if you don't get your narrow behind out here.
I can't.
What you mean you can't? Don't make me come in there. I might not bring Jesus with me.
I'm studying. I'm doing my homework.
You're almost 2 hours late getting home. Come out here so I can talk to you. Do you have any idea the stress you put me under waiting for you? You didn't even bother to call or text so I know you were okay? What in the world happened?
Life.
Life. And what does that mean? What, raise your head when I'm talking to you. Sweet Jesus, is that a black guy? Who put their hands on you?
I already told you, life.
You know what? Be still. Let me get some ice. So, is life the name of the boy in the neighborhood who punched you? Or are you using that word as a metaphor because...
See, why you assume somebody in the neighborhood hit me? I got into a fight at school, in history class. A bunch of boys from the Upper East Side said I was lame because of the way I talk and how I style my hair. They called me a hood rat. So I beat them like the stereotype they perceived me to be, all 6 of them. Yeah. I got suspended for 3 days.
Suspended on the first day of school? Are you serious?
I told you I wasn't gonna fit in no bougie-ass white school. But you wanna live your whole Fresh Prince life, so... Lesson bought.
You have to do better with your temper. You can't just let what people say get under your skin.
They call me a rat, Ma. I had to beat them just on GP, to educate. Otherwise, I risk internalizing their oppression, and you know that ain't me. Come on, man, I had to stand up for myself by any means necessary, and if you didn't want me to do that, then you shouldn't have named me Malcolm Little after Malcolm X. I mean, no disrespect, Mom, but as far as I'm concerned, this little debacle is partly your fault.
Oh, I beg your pardon?
You put a bright, militant, Project raised, hot-blooded, good-looking brother in a pre-Ivy League institution with a whole bunch of rich, entitled white boys who hate their fathers, look down on their mothers, and think every brother wants to be their bro. And what, you thought it wasn't gonna be no static? I mean, come on, ma. I love you, but let's take a stroll down real world lane. You bugging. You playing yourself, and I ain't going back to that school no more, full stop.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. I'm old enough to decide what's best for me.
Oh.
I'm 16. A man. If I had a father, he could tell you that. He could explain that to you. See, but my father's either dead or he don't give a damn about me, so I got to have a say in how you raise me. So you don't suffocate me, ma. And all I'm saying is I'm not going back to that school no more because I'm a man. Now, what's for dinner?
He turns on the TV. Nella walks into his room and comes back with a pair of tennis shoes. She throws them out of the window.
Ah! Hey, them my J's, ma. Them my Air Force Ones, we 7 stories up. That's about $400. Are you not well?
I'm sorry, baby, but you are a man, remember? So you can buy some more.
You really snap. Hey, what you going in there? Mama. What you going in?
To get your PlayStation. Because I know you can't live without that.
Mama, please. I was wrong. I'm not a man. I'm not a man. I'm a gentleman.
What's going on in here?
Will you intervene or do an intervention or something? I mean, she's gone bananas. She's
Now look,
out of body.
What is he talking about? Oh, you haven't heard? Malachi is a man now.
Already? I'll leave y'all for 1 minute.
I want an apology from you, Malachi, for the way that you talked to me and for going to that school and acting a fool. That institution will almost guarantee your entrance into any college in this country. There's a reason the smartest kids in the city go there, and you're just as smart or smarter than all of them. Oh, you going? You going to that school whether you want to or not. No, you going? Or you going out my house. And I mean it.
Nella P.
You know what? Fine. It's nice knowing y'all. Peace.
Malachi, don't leave. You have to eat. I got food from Famous Fish. Goodness, gal, I said let him stew, not throw the child's stuff out the window. What's gotten into you?
I can't have him disrespecting me in my house.
And how you expect to sleep tonight with him out on the streets? You know you're going to be pacing the floors all night.
I don't know what to do anymore. I'm throwing my hands up, T. Maybe this is all my fault. Maybe I should have remarried and found Malachi a father. Maybe he's right. He needs a man.
It's going to be all right. We just need to pray. Prayer changes everything. We need to pray, and we need to eat. When hands come together, eyes close and heads bow over food. And heat from spices, slices of meat, scent of mint, of toffee, coffee newly brewed, mouths water like ice droplets on crystal glass. Eyes tear from steamy vegetable, hot potato, and corn mash. When butter beans turn an eat me green, melting margarine into a golden glisten, and if you listen, you can hear guts growling, hands trembling, and folks grabbing a hold to their plate, cause everybody's praying they hurry up with grace. God wants us to eat.
Yes, Lord, yes, let's eat.
Them hot links before they turn cold, them baby carrots before they grow old. Hurry up while the sweet tea is sweet and the peach cobbler is peachy, preachy and sticky, coated in syrup and finger licky, swimming and sinning in cinnamon brown sugar, laid like spread legs on a bed of crust and flour, topped with lustful spoonfuls of whipped cream and ice cream, and I'm a scream! Yeah! If this prayer keep me too long from them long breads, string beans, or barbecue short ribs, drizzling with thick hot sauce. I don't even need my salad tossed. I'm gonna go in, eyes first on them black-eyed peas, then them neck bones like I aim to please.
Yes.
I'll open real wide for fried legs and thighs.
Yes.
Suck them pig feet, go downtown on that upside down cake.
Yes.
Oh, wait, excuse me while I gets me another plate. Give me some turkey wings and greens, tater salad and chitterlings.
Yes.
Dump my dumplings and chicken and gravy. Pour it over the whole cakes. I'm too hungry to be a lady.
Yes.
Man, you better not smile at my cheese grits. I'm getting ready to have a soul food fit. Then I'ma sop my own self up with a biscuit till I fall fast asleep.
Yes.
Now, Lord, bless this food, because it sure is time to eat.
In the scene.
Well, amen. Let me move this out of the way. You got it? Did you get it? Thank you.
Well, I think I'm gonna be going to see that. And I think I was hungry right now. Where the blessings reside, where the blessings reside. Where the blessings I see we are all fans of P-Valley. Yeah, but it's so wonderful to see that sister and the young people with her to perform. Marcus Gladley, he was part of the cast of Choir Boy, you know, so, and he's done a lot of, some great work since then, and I am so happy to see Dee Wood, doing her thing on stage, yes. Thank you, Marcus Gardley. I can't wait to see that. All right, Jeffrey Page is somebody that you may know, that you may not know. He's an Emmy-nominated director and choreographer whose career includes working with such luminaries as Beyonce, Mariah Carey, and Jasmine Sullivan. He has worked on Broadway, regionally and internationally on projects including Fela. Yes, it's time for that show to come back. Memphis Company Violet, and Ain't Misbehavin'. He is co-director and choreographer for the reimagined revival of the musical 1776, currently playing at the Roundabout Theater Company. Please welcome to the stage and to this family, Jeffrey Page. It's good to see you.
You too.
What was the genesis of your journey as an artist?
That's a big question.
Yeah, very big.
I would say African dance. If you asked me that question about 6 years ago, I probably would not have said African dance because I was working really hard and diligent to not be exclusively associated with African dance. When I moved to LA, it put me in a box. And so if you asked me that question a while ago, I would have said something else. But now I think I've come back around and started to understand the holistic beauty and journey of being started in African dance. And so I proudly say African dance because I think it has so many textures and qualities that have helped me with my art. So,
Patricia Scott Hobbs told me one time, she's an amazing dancer and choreographer and educator. She told me that in African theater, you get to the story through the dance, so, and she was correct, I think.
It's interesting. So Miss Pat.
Yeah.
I know Miss Pat very well. It's interesting because a mentor of mine, I won't say her name, but she emailed me and she asked me to give her a recommendation of Africanist companies who focus on philosophies of African theory through their work. And I sent her some dance companies. And this is a very smart woman. And she responded to my email. She said, Jeffrey, you sent me dance companies. I asked for theater companies. And so I proceeded to write her like a 6-paragraph explanation of why in Africanist culture, dance is the carrier of information. In Africanist culture, dance carries the histories and legacies. So when you go to Guinea, to Mali, to Senegal, to Mississippi, to New Orleans, you will find legacy inside of dance. And so that's why today I'm very proud to say the genesis of who I am as an artist, it comes very specifically from Africanist dance structure.
All right. I watched your MFA journey online, through Facebook. And what I'd like to know is, how does your academic work, he has an MFA in theater with a concentration in directing?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. How does your academic work and your international travels inform your work?
I've learned that that in America we're focused on Aristotle. We're focused on the beauty of Roman Greco theory that comes through the proscenium. It comes through Richard Wagner and his association of turning the house lights down in order to see what's on stage. And I think through my travels to Japan and my travels to Greece and to Africa, I've come to understand that is only a theory. So this idea of I'm on stage and I'm separated from the audience is a theory, and it's a theory that was propagated by Aristotle, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I have come to the conclusion of is I have the strength and the muscle to create my own theories. Mm-hmm. I respect the theory of, proscenium and fourth wall construct and all of this other stuff. But I think I've come to the conclusion that I have the ability to take what I've learned in my travels in Mali, what I've learned in my travels in Guinea and Jamaica and different places, and start to reassess and reimagine what we know to be the theatrical experience. And so that's what I bring a lot into my theatrical work, both academically as well as an artist.
Last question. How did 1776 come to you? That project.
That project. Mm-hmm. Diane Paulus, who was brought the project, she actually came to me and she asked me to be associate director. Mm-hmm. And this was kind of like, I've already had a career in choreography. I've already won awards and whatnot. And I said to her, I said, do you have a choreographer yet? And she said, no, I'm interviewing some people. And she said, why, do you know of someone? Oh. And I said, sure. I said, me. She said, oh, you're a choreographer. I said, yes, I am. And the interesting thing about that is I was pretty happy that she did not know me as a choreographer because I was working really hard to disassociate myself with that part of myself because I wanted to be like, Shakespearean theater and Brecht theater, and I wanted to be associated with theater. And when she said, oh, you're a choreographer, and I said, yeah, she said, can you send me some of your stuff? And I said, sure. And I went home and I sent her like a lot of stuff. And she said, oh, okay. And she brought me on board as the choreographer. With us working together for several months, we started to develop a rhythm, a kind of conversation. And she asked me to work with her on the project as co-director. So not as associate director, and not only, it's very, very different. And not only as choreographer, but as choreographer and co-director. Thank you. And so that was quite a moment. I did not know anything about 1776 when she brought it to me. And so I'd done tons of research. So this has been a journey of research of what 1776 was about. She's talking to me and I'm like, 1776, I have no clue what you're talking about, but okay. And I go and research 1776, and the piece is actually about Black slavery. Like, it actually says it in the musical. Rutledge, I'm stumbling just because I'm trying to figure out how much I want to tell y'all. And
Don't tell a lot because...
I won't tell a lot, but one of the people say, are you talking about slavery? And then another person says, no, I'm talking about Black slavery. And so that's like the pinnacle of the show, right? So in this piece, I've done a really scary thing of segregating and bifurcating the cast, that will hopefully show the audience a picture, an image of what anti-Blackness looks like, and the fight to prove one's humanness inside of this founding document. So that was 1776. What Imani is going to sing for you all tonight is Mama Look Sharp. Mama Look Sharp is a piece, it's a protest piece. You have to remember that 1776 was written in 1968. This was in protest of the Vietnam War, right? And so Mama Look Sharp was very specifically a song that was speaking to the powers of the time, right? And speaking about the dangers of war, right? Interestingly enough, this happened at a space and time where George Floyd and the murder of George Floyd was happening, and the last words that George Floyd said is he was calling for his mother, right? So Mama Look Sharp, in my opinion, it's a very paralleled kind of narrative about where we are as a people, and specifically where we are as Black people in this country, and how it links up to where we were in 1968 with the metaphor of 1776 and the founding of the nation. So that's how 1776 came to me.
Well, I want to say thank you very much for coming to the Schomburg tonight and sharing this information with us. I've known you for a very long time, and it is just joyous for me to see the work that you are doing right now. We are going to close the program with Imani Pearl Williams singing Mama Get Sharp.
Mama Look Sharp.
Look Sharp. Mama Look Sharp. From 1776, now playing at the American Airlines Theater until January 8th, 2023. It is being produced by the Roundabout Theater Company. There's going to be time for you to go out to experience the marketplace some more after you've seen everything this evening. And we will have one winner who's going to win a theater super package, so don't go anywhere. But please listen, please welcome Imani Pearl Williams to the stage along with Geraldine Anello. Is that how you pronounce it? Okay. Thank you very much for being here. Love you madly. Thank you. Yeah, one more thing.
So everybody, I just want to say really quickly how important it is to see this work, especially being Black people. It's very important to see this work. I didn't only make this work for Black people, but the work is for us, right? So to really see this bifurcation of what America looks like, feels like through our bodies. Like, I really specifically made this work. And so when Imani is singing this song, I also want you to envision, but just put your glasses on and look at this work in another kind of way. Look at this work in 2022 and the kind of police violence that we experience, the kind of police state that we experience, and just soak it in. And I hope to see you at the theater. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
Mama, hey mama, come looking for me. I'm here in the meadow by the red maple tree. Mama, hey mama, look sharp. Here I be. Hey, hey, mama, look sharp. Them soldiers, they fired. Oh, ma, did we run? But then we turned around and the battle begun. Then I went under. Oh, ma, am I done? Hey, hey, mama, look sharp. My eyes are wide open, my face to the sky. Is that you I'm hearing in the tall grass nearby? Mama, come find me before I do die. Hey, hey, mama, look sharp. I'll close your eyes, my Billy, them eyes that cannot see, and I'll bury my Billy beneath the maple tree.
Okay, you ready? You ready? Thank you. Okay, we are going to announce, if you leave your seat, you won't find out if you won. Okay? All right. Okay. Whoever is sitting in H3, is somebody sitting in H3?
I can already tell you it's going to be on this side of the room. So if you're on this side of the room, letter H, nobody's in the seat. Okay, we're going to go to the next one. Back up is M106. So M is going to be back there, that first row. 106, the number is between your legs on the seat. All right. We have a winner? No, okay. All right, simmer down, simmer down. I'm gonna go one more time. We're gonna go for J. It's gonna be in the middle here, so if you're in the middle and you're in row J, raise your hand. You raise your hand, row J. You're not in J, you're in J, you're in J. Whoever raises their hand first in row J is gonna get it in the center. Raising your hand, then, because apparently the people in row J are actually not looking at me because I can see each of you. All right, sir, you are it. You right there. Yep. What do they win?
They won tickets to see
a handful of plays, so when you get your list.
Both Broadway and off-Broadway. It's Broadway and off-Broadway, MJ, Death of a Salesman, The Collateral, 2 shows at the Public Theater. And so if you'll see me out in the lobby, you didn't win. Thank you so very much for being with us this evening.
Thank you all for coming out. Thank you for being such an attentive audience. I hope you got your flyers. Some of them have discount codes on them, and we hope to see you again at the Schomburg soon. Take care.
Woo. Yeah, I know.